Yeah, so a lot of people have been asking me, what exactly is going on. As far as me, my name, Nick, and my last name, Cabot, and what's happening with the people of why I have that last name. And there's a lot to talk about. Uh, this is what I'm going to basically say in a nutshell. I wasn't adopted into that family, from what I can tell from my experience, to benefit me. I was adopted into that family to benefit them. And the reason why I say that is because my mother was an artist and she used to spend her entire day in the studio. And she would, like, from the time I was very young, sit me down in front of the television. And I was a very good kid. And I would just sit there all day, and she'd come up around, say, noon, after I had fixed myself a little lunch or something, and say it's time to go to bed for your nap. And it's very hard to get kids into a schedule if you haven't. Basically, if you sat them in front of the TV all day and then you say, hey, it's time for a nap, and then the kid's not tired, and then now they're a bad kid because you don't want them to take a nap, that was the start before we went to school. Then when we got to school on the first day in first grade, now I've gone all the way back, and you're like, oh, Jesus, what the hell are you talking about, Nick? Well, I'm just giving you a little background. First day, I get there, and I'm shocked that I don't have all of the study skills that I need to do first grade. I didn't learn them all from Sesame Street. And I was shocked. I was shocked I didn't know the things that other students knew, because I had been such a good student of Zoom, Mr. Rogers, Sesame Street. I had watched them day after day that my mother had left me sitting in front of that television set. And when I got to first grade and I was illiterate, I got stuck into the back of the room. They gave me a workbook this thick in this private Catholic school, and my mother didn't do any checking. She assumed that she had paid for me to get an education. She thought I was getting something that was superior. Meanwhile, I'm stuck in the back of a room with a workbook this thick that I never did any of the work in. They didn't check it. I hated that school because I wasn't getting the attention I wanted. So I got very, very smart, and I chose the smartest girl in class, and I started blocking out her name and writing my name right beside it. Obvious as day, trying to get kicked out of the school. They didn't even recognize that. They just would have rather than address the fact that I was cheating and stealing the smartest person's homework in the classroom, rather than to address that and say what's really going on with this kid's thing, they just kept me in the back of the room and never checked my homework. So I wanted to leave that school very badly. Now the first report card came, and I'm illiterate in the back of the room, and I'm getting a C minus D plus average. And next thing you know, I'm being grounded without dinner. And that was my life growing up. I'm constantly being set up to fail. No, conversations about college or preparedness or for the future. Just always, at when it was study time, my mother would just stand over me and scream at me about how stupid I was, and punctuated at the end with a Tiger Woods drawback style golf swing slap to the face for not having an answer as to why I'm not any smart. And my mother's excuse for basically her lack of setting up the study atmosphere that would have led to success in school for me instead of such pain and failure. It's all, there was no conversation about going to college. There was nothing. Ida Medlin, the counselor in our school, she just says to me on the first day, well, you have big shoes to fill with your sister. And my sister's 5 years older than me. What the heck do I know about her shoes? I don't know. I'm doing my thing. I'm some black boy, and she's a little white princess. What the heck? There's nothing to. I didn't even understand I didn't even understand the conclusion. But in any case, she never spoke to me about going to college. Everybody just basically talked to me like I was an idiot. And then when it came time to go to school, yeah, it just didn't happen, lo and behold. And that was kind of the excuse that the Cabots used to not deal with me anymore, to quote unquote give up on me. My mother pimped this whole me not being a good student thing to turned it into basically me being Osama bin Laden and me being Hitler, because I used to come home every night from school and be grounded to my room without food. You all didn't know that, but I was not being spoken to, not being worked with, not being helped to study, and not being fed. And that's what it was like to be in the Cabot's house. So, you know, I have not been invited to any of their functions. The facilitation, I mean, the poverty that I was led straight to and that I live in is not, there's never been facilitation to say, well, we obviously know you can't go to our family reunions, or we haven't even said, hey, you can come stay at our house. Nothing. My dad was this huge alcoholic, you know, and the minute I said, let's get help for him, my mother and my sister turned on me so fast and began to sabotage my life, which I could tell you many, many examples and give you some concrete, actual courtroom evidence of them doing that. Really actually have courtroom evidence, unfortunately, of my mother throwing me under the bus. You know, in the court case where the United States military decided to say that I beat up a military officer when I was protesting ROTC's policy, their gay policies. And my mother wrote to the prosecutor and said, we've done everything we could for him and nothing seems to work and you should just put him in jail for a very long time. Never ever having spoken to me, never having reviewed the case, and not knowing that I was completely innocent and proven innocent of the charges at hand. So that's the type of person that I grew up with, thinking that it was my mother. It was actually an enemy trying to destroy me, you know. And you can't fight when you think it's your mother, and you're not prepared to see that that person is the most destructive force in your life and is actually setting you up for your personal journey to hell. You can go ahead and read the Princess Diaries books, these books that tell you that you don't need a man, you can be queen, you can have babies without a man, blah, blah, blah. You know, great. Same person who wrote that also was extremely angry when I tried to get help from my father so he could stop drinking and stop being drunk. And he eventually did die of alcoholism. So, great for you. If that's what you want to do with your kids and have them read those books and, you know, basically those Illuminati ideas, that's who the Cabots are. After 17 years, I can actually sit here and say that there is a chance that we live with aliens on this planet, and there is a chance that the Cabots are not fully human. I don't know for sure, but let me put it to you like this. After 17, I never let the sun go down on my face. I've never been after dark. I've never gone back. After I left, I was like, ooh, the sun's going out, bye! Because I am actually scared of them. Hello?